Everybody, I thought I would do a bit of some shouts and show and tells and an announcement that we have our show tonight. And so starting with the show tonight, I'm happy to sort of announce that we have Dan Booman joining us as a special guest tonight on the Musty Wargamers. Topics are kind of interesting tonight. One of them is how to explain or not explain your hobby to non-wargamers. And then the second topic will be, is command and control necessary for a wargame? So a little bit of discussion on command and control within wargaming rules. So I hope that you can join us live at our normal time, which is 8 Mountain or 9 Central Time. Wherever you are, you just have to do the calculation on that. Yeah, please join us live. We always have a fun show with people in the comments chatting and hanging out. Otherwise, you feel welcome to come in later and watch it at another time, upload it to YouTube. Now, I thought I would take the opportunity today to show a couple of things. I am in the process right now, and I'm planning on doing a little bit of time today. I'm just paint blocking in the skin on my Iroquois, and hopefully going to be working on some of the outer garments. Normally I actually work on the skin and I just kind of plow through and do a lot of glazing and highlighting where I want to, but because I'm doing tattoos and war paint, I'm taking a little bit of a different approach because I don't want too many layers of paint. I know I'm getting off track from what the title says in the video here, but I don't want to get too many layers of paint on the model caking up, and so I don't want to do everything for the skin and then spend time putting on war paint and doing multiple layers of that. And so I'm actually just going to be blocking in the war paint early, which is unusual for me. And so yeah, I'm doing a little bit of a different process than I do for Woodland Indians because of the significant amount of war paint on these. And so, yeah, I have a couple things I wanted to show today. The biggest one that I'll show, I'm going to be showing a model that I've purchased, resin model, to do, so it's not for wargaming. I'm going to show my excitement for the Beastmen, and what I've just been doing has made me pick up a miniature that I'd spent a little money on to treat myself. I'm going to show that for those of you into the fantasy stuff. But keeping, most of this video is going to be French Indian War stuff, and keeping in line with that, I'm going to start with the biggest thing, and that's this huge box in front of you. I would like to thank Victor from Vic's Miniatures. He sent me a really nice letter, and he contacted me, and I guess he has a lead pile, like we all do, that he's trying to pare down on, likely for projects that maybe he's not getting to, and he had thought that I would appreciate the French Indian War figures that he has, which I do very much appreciate them. I do have a couple of different lines. I know, like, my collection are Minden and Crantera, but I actually have a couple of different lines of French Indian War miniatures, and it is sort of my absolute favorite period, and so I can never say no to getting more figures. He said that he wasn't sure which line these were, and I'm not sure off the top of my head, but I'm actually not going to be able to go through all of them today because it's actually a truly monumental amount of miniatures. It was really generous. I'm just going to put this box aside for a second here. If any of you know the miniatures in the comment, that would be an interesting curiosity. I believe the way he has this bagged up is he has some horses in a bag, and he has some British in a bag, and some French in a bag. And to be honest, I kind of skimmed through these already, and then just in preparation for this video, when I was looking at them, I was discovering stuff I didn't discover the first time. But I think maybe what I'll do, I'm just going to go into the British bag here and just show a couple of things real quick. So, I have some And a close up here. Some cavalry, and they do have an arm with a sword attached that you just attach here. And there's like a large bag of horses. So this would be some British cavalry. So these are, they seem to be very characterful sculpts. Initially when I first looked at them I thought they might be 25 mil, but actually I think they're probably 28 mil. And so these would be, these look to be, I'd have to go through the whole bag, but I'm thinking they're either light infantry or they could be rangers. More from there. There's a lot of variation in the sculpts too. That's what I noticed. Very nice. I'm going to go to another bag here. These I didn't see the first time I went through the bag, but have some. So these came in the British bag. I'm assuming these would be like mohawks, similar to what I'm doing now. It's very nice, and really a wide variety of poses. Grab one more of these. And I appear to have a cannon piece here as well with crew. And these say British cannon and crew on them, so I do think this whole bag is British. But this guy's kind of neat. This guy's covering his ears as it's shooting. And there's a third one in here with the cannon. I'm just going to pull the cannon out. Here's the barrel itself. Hard to really say, but this could be like a 3-pounder, like or a Galloper gun, which in a lot of ways makes a lot of sense for French Indian War actions when you're kind of moving things around. And they were just literally building roads for the first time in North America at that time in order to engage in war. And for small actions, I would think they would be very useful to have. So there really is quite a bit. This is just a bag of horses here that I can use for all that cavalry, which are really nice. And so there's an equal-sized bag of French as well. I'm not going to go through all the miniatures today, but I do want to thank Victor for this. This is a really, really nice gift. Here's a leader of the British. I'll just show that before I finish since I've got it in my hand on cavalry. But I want to thank Victor. For those of you that don't know Victor's channel, I'm sure that a lot of you that are on my channel do. It's called Vic's Miniatures, and it is one of my favorite channels to watch. One of the things that I really like about it is that not only is he into the typical wargaming stuff that us wargamers or content providers put up on YouTube, but he also kind of puts up a lot of other stuff. Not only is in a modeling, and so he has a modeling component where he puts up model cars and like other model things, but he puts up a lot of busts, where he paints busts of figurines. And Rusty and I have both kind of gotten into doing that now too, and for me at least, it was initially seeing some of Victor's stuff that got me into it. And he actually does a lot of alternative, for wargaming at least, alternative painting with like oils. So I'm not used to seeing people painting miniatures with oils, and I really quite like seeing the difference and just people doing things differently. I haven't made the leap on that yet, although I use oils for washes and certain things and inks. I've not just sort of went out and just started doing it exclusively with oil, and but it has been on my mind at times to try it, and in part due to Victor's channel. And so I'm going to put the link below for those of you that might be interested in, if you've never seen his channel, and checking his channel out. And before I go with this, I actually got this horse here too. I have the sort of British officer here, very nice. One of the things that I like is the scale to the officer to the horse. It actually looks pretty good, actually. I find most miniatures, the person is oversized on horses, and it's just, to some degree, it's the focus on the human. I think that often comes on with that in the sculpting, and just, if you have to do a lot of horses, like it could be a lot of metal and like a huge sort of undertaking to have realistic horses. But I actually really like the look of this. Looks really good. All right. So once again, thank you very much, Victor. I will actually enjoy one day painting these up and having I always like to do French Indian War stuff, and so I do appreciate that. I'm going to clean this part of my table up and then show the next thing here. So the next thing I have to show here today is for a little personal project, decided that I'd like to do a bit of a model. I wanted to do a full body sort of oversight compared to the wargaming miniature of Woodland Indian. This is described as, this is by Troop 54. It's a 54 millimeter model. I'll show the model itself in a moment. There are some pictures of the completed model, the rear and the front, and I guess it's inspired by a piece of artwork with this native walking down a log in the woods. And it's described as Woodland Indian allied to Britain French Indian War is the sort of name of the model. And so it's a resin model, 54 millimeters. Comes with this base piece, like basically a log, and that you could be walking down. It has some peg holes for the feet to go in to give it a bit more attachment to this model, which is great. I could see that being a problem otherwise. And it's mostly one piece. I'll kind of show it in here closer. So yeah, I've just done a quick glance on this. There's a lot of detail. There's just a very tiny bit of flashing, not much. And to be honest, I've only found maybe just a couple little bubbles, but nothing, nothing significant. See if you could see them on camera. There's a couple just, when looking at it, I just noticed a couple right here. Really small. But beyond that, there's nothing, but for sure, there's nothing disfiguring, as far as the casting. And I would say they're so minimal that other than just making sure to just hit a couple of those, it's, for the most part, perfectly what I would want. None of it's in the face, too. None of the bubbles. Detail on the face and the quality of the sculpt looks really cool. Looks to be, by his face, a little bit of a veteran to me. Like, he doesn't look extremely young. Which, that's kind of cool. Many years ago when I was a student in high school in art, I remember one of the college students coming in and talking about how age oftentimes makes faces more interesting, when it comes to artwork, because a lot of your features get more pronounced as you get older. And I never forgot that when he said that. I don't know why. It was just a little tidbit of info, but I reminded of that now, just when looking at this miniature. It's just really cool. And so he seems to be, as he's walking down this log, carrying his rifle behind his back, just sort of swinging it behind his back. It does have this one piece of the arm and the gun with the hands connected. They require just a little bit of cleanup. This piece, I believe, is just flash. I've looked everywhere on the model, and I've looked around, and I don't see anywhere where that would go. I believe it is just flash. And so, let me just pull back a moment here. So I thought about this as I was awaiting this to come, and I thought, what am I going to do with this? And I'm pretty set on the idea that rather than having him walk down, I think I should be able to have him walk across. Well, let me see. With the flashing here, I'm not sure whether that would work. I think what I'm going to do, no matter what, you may have to walk down with the angle of the feet, but what I'm thinking I'm going to do is have this traversing a water feature. Or at least part of a water feature, and use some of my water effects that I've purchased that I did for that terrain piece for Onyurol, the Createx Light, I believe it's called, and make a little bit of a water feature that he's walking across and have some depth to it, so the log will go into it, and even maybe sculpt some fish, like, that you can see under the water. And just, yeah, and so how big the base is going to be to actually achieve that, I'm not sure yet. I wanted to wait for it to come in, and literally this just came in yesterday. Whether it's going to be kind of a little bit of a larger base or something that I can achieve smaller would be really depend on actually what I ended up doing. And so, let's see, my daughter just coming in. To say something, realizing that I'm videoing. And so, yeah, so happy about that. And last thing I just wanted to show real quick. This is a big shift of gears, but I just thought I'd show it anyway. I was so really excited about the Warhammer Fantasy stuff that I just did. I in the same way that I'm really excited about my French Indian War period, I just really love the old world from Warhammer Fantasy, and I'm just getting big blocks of ranked beastmen and all that stuff. I'm just really enjoying. I kind of thought to myself that my army has grown to a pretty significant size, because unfortunately every time I paint something I still buy something. Nothing compared to my initial purchase, but one model that I hadn't had, and in reading the rules, it's really important to have the battle standard. And in some cases, they're magical items, and they're large standards that really affect the game. Although I have little ones, big, like the Beast Lord, and I have your standards that come with your army that would serve fine, just to use on the table for that purpose. I thought that getting the large. This is at first, I think it was limited edition, but Jankmaster I was talking to me said it came in a Chaos box at one point, or a Beastmen box starter. I thought getting this, which is sort of your BSB, I think, Battle Standard Bearer, would be great, just to have like that big standard that is the focal point, adding an element to the list on one side. And it's a really great model. I mean, he's like screaming with his axe up in the air and holding his standard. And so this was a little pricey to buy at my game store for one miniature. And I've been watching it on the shelf. There were two of them. Actually, I've been watching it for a long time and always passing on it because of the price. But then I was reading the rules and just talking to people on Warhammer Fantasy Battle and on Facebook, and just the importance of these, particularly for Beastmen. And I just thought, with the size army I have, how can I justify not having this? And so, in the end, decided to get it. So, all right. My camera's actually, I'm about to end anyway, but my camera, my battery and stuff, it's indicating that everything's going to go. So I'm going to leave it at that, and I hope to see you guys tonight. Take care.